Hello, I'm Gwenydd Jones. I'm a Spanish and French to English translator, an editor and a blogger, and I'm the founder of the Translators studio, where we teach the art of translation and specialize in preparing translators for the CertTrans and DipTrans exams offered by the Chartered Institute of Linguists. Today I'm here to talk to you about how to get found online. This is quite a general presentation. My idea is to allow you to peruse the different options available to you. If you're a new translator, then the goal of this session would be that at the end you come away knowing where you should focus your marketing efforts. If you're a more experienced translator and you've already got an online presence but you're not quite sure where to go next, then the goal would be for you to come away knowing where maybe you need to update some of your online profiles or what your next move might be. In case you're wondering what qualifies me to talk to you about getting found online, I've been trying to do this since 2009 when I first became a freelance translator. Over the years, I've delved deep into digital marketing and SEO, and I don't think there are that many online marketing channels that I haven't tried. So I will share some of the trials and tribulations, some of my successes and failures, and hopefully you'll be able to map something there onto your own situation. Before I start running through the different online channels, I just wanted to have a quick word with you about preparation, because once you've identified the channel that you're going to use to market yourself, you're going to have to populate it with content, and there are a couple of things that you can do beforehand to help you understand what you need to write. The first of these is to create some buyer personas. A buyer persona is a detailed description of your target client. This description might include demographical information such as their age, their gender perhaps, where they live. It could also extend to develop them as a personality, thinking about their dreams, what does their daily routine look like. And then of course you need to identify what problem it is that they have that you're going to solve for them. The idea of developing a buyer persona is that you get a better understanding of who you're writing for. So that can help you choose which online channel is best, because where is this imaginary person going to go when they're trying to find someone who offers your services? And also it can guide you when you're writing the content, because if you can understand your value for them, then you can write things in the content to show them how you're going to resolve their problems and bring them value. If you've never heard of buyer personas and you'd like more information about how to write one, then just Google it. There are lots and lots of different articles online that will teach you. I've also written a blog post that connects with this presentation, which I'll give you the link to. The second thing that you want to get ready before you start populating your online profiles is your updated CV. In its simplest form, your CV is going to start with a personal statement. Then you'll either put your work history or your educational history. You can decide on the order that you prefer. If you're a new translator and you don't have a huge amount of experience, then the personal statement at the beginning of the CV is really important, because that's where you can convince this target client of your value and what you're going to do for them. If you're a more experienced translator, then maybe you've got too much to fill your CV and you might want to consider doing more than one. I have a CV for legal translation and I have a completely different CV for marketing translation. Once you've got your buyer persona and your CV ready, now you're in a good position to start opening online profiles and populating them with information. The first one I'd like to talk about is social media. The one social media profile that every freelancer should have is on LinkedIn. I've interviewed a lot of different people from the translation industry on our YouTube channel, and whenever I speak to somebody in translation project management, they all say, get your LinkedIn profile up to date. The reason is that a lot of the large companies have premium accounts with LinkedIn, and so when they want to look for someone to employ, they'll go in there and start searching. You'll even find that some of them run their application process through LinkedIn. It may be that that's the only place they go to look for people, and so if you're not there, you've got no chance of being found. What I did, because I'm not a big fan of producing lots of content, is I produced a really strong profile based on my CV and the personal statement that I wrote at the beginning. And then I optimized the profile using some keywords, the type of thing that I want to be found for: translator, editor, SEO, blogger. I don't post that frequently on LinkedIn because it's just not my thing, but I can tell you that several of our students do. I see them there and they put out a post maybe once a week, quite a detailed comment, maybe about something related to work, something that they've been thinking about related to translation, and they get a lot of interaction, a lot of likes and a lot of comments. Where this really serves them is if a potential employer goes to their profile to find out about them, then they can look at where they've been posting, and this consistent posting says to the potential employer that you're active in the industry and that you're interested in it. For me, I haven't done that much, although I do use it to promote our blog posts, but I can tell you that just by optimizing my profile and updating it regularly, I often get people finding me and coming to offer me different work opportunities. So, if you're going to walk away from this presentation and do just one thing, it's that: optimize your LinkedIn profile. As for the other social media, it's up to you. My advice is focus on LinkedIn and you'll be good to go. The second and possibly most obvious place to put yourself online would be on your own freelancing website. The great thing about a website is it's your real estate. You can design it how you want, you can put whatever content you want on it, and nobody can throw you off their platform because the platform belongs to you. A website can be quite intimidating when you start off. For me, it's always been a question of iteration. I produce a very simple page to start, and then I grow. I can also tell you that over the years, I've thrown quite a lot of money away on websites. The initial one that I did before the Translators studio was called Letraduct, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I designed it as a sort of translation agency and a blog, and then I wanted to do the translator training, and the whole thing didn't really come together very well. I spent €1,500 at that point, that's 10 years ago, on that website, and in the end I just dumped it. The moral of the story there is that it's worth thinking hard before you do anything regarding a website, because decisions that you make at the beginning, like for instance the domain name, are going to be with you for a long time. After that initial mistake, I went much more slowly. I did a lot of experimentation. I'm interested in web design, so I learned how to design my own websites. And what I eventually learned is that you really do want to iterate with them. So start with something small that has the potential to grow, maybe just a single page, and then you can build on it later. The negative thing about a website is, of course, it's got cost. Your LinkedIn profile you did for free, but if you want to set up a website, at the very least, you're going to have to pay for hosting and for a domain name on a yearly basis. Then you may need to get some plugins, and then either you're going to learn to do it yourself, which takes time, or you're going to have to pay someone to do it for you. Once you're up and going, maybe you can get your web designer to teach you how to maintain it yourself, and so then on a yearly basis, it's just the hosting and domain costs, maybe around $250, depending on who you go with. You can get it cheaper or you can pay more. One thing to bear in mind is search engine optimization. It isn't realistic to expect your website to rank if all you're doing is a simple translator website. So you can save money there. I wouldn't use it to try to rank on Google. I would use it as a place to send people to. Once they find your LinkedIn profile, you send them there. The good thing about your own website is there are no competitors there, just you. Third on my list is professional associations. I highly recommend that you join at least one if you're serious about your profession. You can use their logos on all of your communications and advertising, and it tells clients that you're serious. I'm a member of the Chartered Institute of Linguists, and I've become a chartered linguist, and so that's very good to support the general impression I give to people who don't know me. In terms of actually getting work, the association that I've done best through is called ACETRAD, which is the Spanish Translators Association. The reason that works so well for me is that there aren't so many native English speakers there. So my top tip when it comes to joining a professional association would be to consider joining one in the country of your source language rather than in the country of your target language. Another place where you might want to add some online profiles are different marketplaces and platforms, some specifically for translators like prose.com and others more general like Fiverr or Upwork, where you can compete for work alongside freelancers offering lots of different services. Prose.com was my first online profile in 2009, and back then it was actually how I started to build my client base. I was marketing myself on prose.com and applying for lots of different jobs. Then I would send out CVs, and as I became more established, a lot of business came my way through word of mouth. In addition to prose.com, there's Translators Cafe. I had a profile there earlier on, although I haven't kept that profile up because I didn't get that much work there, although I know others have been successful. As far as the general freelancer marketplaces are concerned, like Fiverr and Upwork, I've never had profiles on them because they tend to attract bottom feeders. With a name like Fiverr, of course you're going to. I know of colleagues who've successfully found work and clients on those platforms, and you never know. If you're starting out, it could be a good way for you to get a few jobs under your belt to put on your CV at the very least. They also facilitate payment for you, although they may take a cut. Then you have translator marketplaces like the one that SmartCat offers. SmartCat has an online cat tool and its corporate clients use it. When they're using the tool, if they need linguists to assist them, they will source them from the SmartCat marketplace. What is good about that is you're putting yourself in the right place at the right time. You're there exactly at the moment when the client needs you. So far, I've mentioned 4 main places: social media with emphasis on LinkedIn, your website, encouraging you to start simple because you can always get more complicated later, professional associations, where I think at least one is a very good move to show people that you care about your profession, and online profiles and marketplaces in places like prose.com. I would say that those are the 4 basic options that you should be considering when it comes to trying to get found online. It may be that once you've got those profiles set up, you have a full portfolio of clients and you don't need to do any more online marketing, although you should always keep those profiles up to date. However, if you get into it, or you're enjoying yourself, or you're just passionate and want to do something a little more complicated, I'll just take a few moments to run through the more advanced options of online marketing. Blogging is one of my favorite activities to do when it comes to selling myself online, although to be honest with you, I would do it anyway because I enjoy it. What I really like about blogging is that it's a way for you to improve your writing skills. If you keep learning about how to do it better and you keep learning about SEO, you can become a really good marketing writer. As a result of my blogging efforts over the years, I've now been a blogger for 10 years, I have clients who choose to employ me as a blogger to help them rank on the search engines. Of course, it takes a long time to build up a successful blog, and some people like it better than others. Another option that is open to you if you create your own website is to just create a small blog. Maybe you just write 7 or 8 posts about different subjects related to the services that you offer. After that point, you can stop. All you need to do is make sure that you don't show the publication date and maybe check in on them to update them from time to time. The purpose of this would be when a client goes to your website, if they're trying to choose between you and someone else, maybe they'll click into the blog just to see if you actually have the expert knowledge that they're looking for. I don't know about you, but that's something that I do when I'm looking for services. I actually did it recently when trying to choose a physiotherapist. I opted for the physio who had the most complex blog, and their blog actually mentioned one of the issues that I wanted to see them about. If you don't like the idea of running your own blog, you could consider trying to get some guest posts published on other people's blogs. You can just email them and ask them if they're interested. If you have an idea, you can pitch your idea to them. Some of them have a dedicated page where they're actually asking for contributors. A good example of this is the professional associations, and I would start by contacting the one that you decided to join. They'll normally say yes. There's also LinkedIn. You're free to post whatever articles you want there, and that can again be a good way to just reinforce for clients that you actually care about what you do and that you know about it. The downside of blogging is that if you actually want to rank on search engines and make money through it, it takes a long time and a lot of effort. You really have to learn how to understand SEO, and you have to be prepared to put in consistent effort every week. We now get the Translator Studio blog posts ranking quite well on Google, but it's a constant battle and a constant amount of updating. This is why it's very hard to get your site ranking as a freelancer, because if you consider the different sites that rank for translation, you're going to be competing with, say, automated translators like Google Translate. You've got no chance of outranking them. Or maybe you're competing with large language service providers who have very deep pockets and a big team of bloggers. Newsletters are an interesting option that you may come across when you're looking at your different marketing alternatives. I write a newsletter once a month for the Translators Studio, and a bit like the blogging, I enjoy doing it because it's a way for me to practice my writing skills in English. The problem with a newsletter is that you need readers, and so it's something that you would be considering once you've already established a presence somewhere. Maybe you've managed to get a lot of followers on one of the social networks, and so you can reach out to them and invite them to follow your newsletter. Or perhaps you've managed to create a blog that has a certain number of readers. With newsletters, you need to be thinking a lot about this buyer persona that I mentioned at the beginning. Is your target client going to be interested in reading your newsletter? Is there something that you can write that will provide enough value for them that they'll let you come into their busy inbox and that they'll actually open and read what you've written? If you enjoy multimedia, then perhaps you would be interested in starting your own YouTube channel. I started one for the Translator Studio several years ago, and I've actually had a lot of fun with it. I've interviewed different people from the translation industry and got to know different people through that. It also really raises my profile, and so when students come to train with us, they've already got to know me quite well. On the downside, it's taken so much work. It's difficult to tell you the number of hours. The learning curve was very steep. I still do it today, though not as much because of the time commitment involved. Last on my list is paid advertising. That's when you open an account with Google AdWords or you pay on one of the social media channels to have adverts shown to potential clients. What I'd say about paid advertising is that it's the fastest way to reach potential clients. You don't have to go through much of a learning curve. You just need to learn how to write a good advert. On the downside, you'll burn through money very quickly, and you may find that the traffic that comes in isn't exactly the type of client that you were looking for. So, to sum up, if you're starting out as a new freelancer, start by getting yourself an optimized LinkedIn profile. Once you've done that, look at getting profiles on other sites such as pros.com, professional associations, and maybe some online marketplaces. Once you're all set up there, then consider moving on to your own website. Keep it simple at first, but give yourself the potential to grow. Maybe a little further down the line, you'd like to start a blog. And always remember that you can guest post elsewhere to improve your online presence and also to help show clients that you really care about your work. Remember that it's important to keep these online profiles updated. Maybe make a note on your calendar at the end of every quarter to just log into your different profiles and make sure that there's nothing that needs changing on them. With this combination, you should find that potential clients are able to find you online.